All right, we are live. All right, we are live. Okay.
We're live.
We are
Hello.
live.
Hello.
Hello, everyone. All of however many people are kicking around. Welcome to the Jock Reynolds Phantom Draft, which is now becoming an annual thing, it looks like. This is the second one, which is exciting. Welcome. I'm Patch. I'm joined by Damo, who's behind all of this wonderful nonsense. Damo, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm happy to be here.
We're happy to have had you have us here. We'll go with that. We'll roll on before we think too much about what any of that sentence means. Azza, you're here as well. How are you, my good friend? How are you?
Oh, yeah, look, traveling very well. Obviously, good to be here again for another Phantom Draft. Hopefully I don't make a fool of myself as I may have done last season with a couple of rogue picks, but we'll see how we go.
And throughout the night, we'll have a board updated, which looks like this. That will be updated
drum
as
roll,
time
please.
goes on.
Ooh,
Oh, look at that effect!
And
Goodness me!
there will be a short break between rounds 1 and 2.
Oh, lovely! Just like the real deal, which is exciting. So
Correct.
we'll go to the 40 listed picks. Obviously, there will probably be some bids in there. As last year, I'm assuming that's just going to push it out, and we'll go to whoever currently has pick 40, or whichever club has pick 40. So it'll probably be like 43 or 44 picks. Thankfully, not as many bids as last year, because, oh boy, was that a fun 27 pick first round. Goodness me.
And then the second round was like 10 picks.
Yes, and then nobody else was picked because that was all she wrote. That was all she wrote. So, in terms of who is picking who tonight, this afternoon, this evening, wherever you are, whenever you are, Damo, who have you got? Run us through what you've got on your table this evening.
Well, Patch, I've got your mob in Essendon. I've also
Please
got
do
Sydney,
not make a terrible mistake.
Hawthorne. I've also got Sydney, Hawthorne, Adelaide, West Coast, and Collingwood.
How are you feeling about that hand?
I think I'm going to have a pretty quiet night, to be honest.
I mean, that's good considering you're the one updating the draft board and making sure things don't catch on fire. So, I think that's probably for the best.
Patch, you've
Azza,
got a...
Azza, who have you got?
Yeah, so I'm going to be picking for Brisbane, Fremantle, Geelong, Gold Coast, Melbourne, and the Doggies.
How are we feeling?
Well, I mean, it's going to be pretty easy with Gold Coast with just the one pick, and then looking to destroy Damo's hopes of any good picks at Fremantle. That should be fun. No, I promise Damo I won't be that mean to you. But no, looks I'm very happy with that draft hand. There's going to be a few good picks in that middle block, and then a few later on. So very happy.
And
Wonderful.
Patch, you've got a busy start with North Melbourne and the Giants. Who else have
North
you got?
Melbourne, the Giants, and then I've got Richmond, who's somehow have 5 top 30 picks, which is a lot of top 30 picks to be having. They've got 7, 15, and then 3 in a row, 26, 27, 28. My notes for Richmond are an absolute mess. So I'll probably take a little while when we get to that little run of selections. And then I've got Carlton, St Kilda, and Port Adelaide, who all have 1 pick each. So yes, we will have live trading.
Supposedly, yeah.
Supposedly, allegedly. My brain probably can't process being the first person to enact some live trading, but I'm sure there'll be deals thrown at each other.
I feel like trading will be more prominent in the second round than the first, but who knows with Azza around?
Who knows? The wild card.
I like to cause some chaos.
And I suppose we'll just kind of get into it.
Yeah, let's start.
Should we?
Let's start.
Let's start. All right. So, goodness me, I could tear your heart apart here, Azza. It could be very fun to pick one. Shane Mumford. Pick 2, like Rory Thompson. But no, I mean, to kick us right off, it's Jason Horne-Francis. There's no bidding from North. there's whispered it's not going to be any bidding in the real deal, and I'm not going to bid here either because I think Horne-Francis is better than Dacos and Darcy. He looks like a generational talent. He looks rather good, as all number 1 draft picks tend to be. I can't see anything that hasn't already been said about him. So, Jason Horne-Francis, there we go. How do we feel, Azza?
Oh, look, you've already spoken well about him. He is a once-in-a-generational talent, and North Melbourne will be very welcoming him into the side. I mean, we're already putting together a pretty good midfield, and it's going to be a really youthful one as well. So he's going to be very welcomed into that, and it'll be really interesting to see how he gels in. But I wouldn't be surprised if he's in there round 1.
Yep. Neither. He looks. Well, I mean, he's been playing against men in the SANFL for 2 years, so if that doesn't prepare you for AFL footy day dot, I don't know what does. We'll skip right along to the Giants, who need some key position stocks. So it is bid time. Sam Darcy is getting bid on at pick 2.
Ooh.
Are we getting a match, or are we just going to get some stunned silence?
Oh, look. Western Bulldogs. Yeah. We'll match that.
I'll twist the arm a bit.
Yeah. Sure.
There we go. How are you feeling about getting Sam Darcy?
Again, he is a fantastic pickup. He'll be very welcomed into the side. Surprising, maybe you're surprised he didn't go Nick Dacos, but I can understand why, GWS being the key positions, they're looking at Sam Darcy. He is probably the premier tall in the draft, and he's just absolutely phenomenal in terms of his contested marking and his early read to the flights. Probably still needs a bit of work on his endurance, but again, that's something that will just come of age. So good pick up there by the Western Bulldogs, and good bid there from you, Patch.
Well, there's going to be another one because we are going to bid on Nick Dacos as well. Darcy being the need would be the player they'd select in an open draft, so I felt you had to bid on Darcy there. The Giants don't need Nick Dacos, but I can't, in good faith, not bid on him because, goodness me, the Pies have to pay for their heinous mistakes of trading out of the first round of this year and missing the chance to get a pick in before Dacos. But anyway, not what the Giants need, but the bid is coming anyway.
And Collingwood will match that, so they lose pretty much every pick of relevancy in this Phantom draft.
Wonderful. That's what we like to hear. And same with the Bulldogs, I take it. They lost all of their picks, pretty much.
Azza, I'm sure you were across that.
Yes.
Yep.
Wonderful. All right, actual picking time for the Giants. I know they need key position stocks, but Finn Callaghan is too good to pass up at pick 2. So apologies, Gold Coast. Apologies, Adelaide. Finn Callaghan is tall, nimble, very good on both feet. He's going to add something a bit different to that midfield. And also tear more beloved midfield time away from the likes of Tom Green and Tim Taranto and Stephen Gnigliog and all those players we want to pick in Supercoach, but never can. Also means Finn Callaghan, persona non grata for Supercoach and fantasy football terms.
Next is Gold Coast. Azza, you're up.
Look, does anybody want pick 3? It's up for offer.
I'll Essendon want pick 3. I don't have Essendon. I don't have Essendon.
Essendon have nothing to trade for pick 3.
I mean, that wasn't the question, was it? It was who wants pick 3.
No, as I think it's a free selection for you.
And that's understandable. And look, it's going to be a pretty easy one for Gold Coast. Yeah, look, we couldn't get Finn Callaghan. Well, that's understandable. But the next one I will be picking for them, Josh Ward, the Northern Knights. Yep.
Interesting.
Well, obviously he's probably one of the big bolters in this draft. Has really taken a steep rise, but I love his endurance, his consistency, his decision-making skills. He's incredibly damaging as well. If you look at his stats in the NAB league, he was averaging 30 disposals, which is absolutely phenomenal, along with 4.8 a tackle. So he's going to be a very great ball user for Gold Coast, and it was hard to pass him up.
Next
Fair
pick,
enough.
I believe, is Adelaide. Yep. I've got Adelaide. I'm picking Josh Rochelle.
Good selection. Talk us through Rochelle.
He's a creative small forward. He can pinch hit in the midfield. People have compared him to the likes of Toby Green. He plays pretty much exactly like him in the snippets that I've seen. And Adelaide don't really have a small forward that is a playmaker. They've got small forwards who can apply pressure, but none that are, bona fide playmakers, and he will add to their developing stocks and hopefully help them rise up the ladder quite quickly.
And yeah, I suspect that's where he ends up on draft night as well. And I think that's a very good pick for the Shepparton youngster. Shout out to Shepparton while we're here.
I think the Hawks have the next pick as well, and I've got them as well. So I will continue
Keep us going.
Hawthorne are selecting, with Josh Ward off the table, they are selecting Neil Erasmus.
Oh. Hashtag Perth bias.
I was thinking about Matt Johnson. I know that they've got some strong interest in him, but a midfielder that can use the ball forward of centre is going to be awesome for them.
Yeah, they don't come around too often. The big ones like that.
You've just broken Fremantle's heart there, Damo.
It's all right. I'm not picking for Fremantle.
There you go. Well, speaking of Fremantle, where does that leave you?
Yeah, that's not what we wanted at all. That is throwing a spanner in the works, because that was in Rochelle as well. Both gone, who would have been absolutely up Fremantle's alley. Jeez.
The potato bake is also melting in chat as well. Cam, we are with you here. That was a curveball none of us saw coming.
No, let's have a look to see what else. Let's have a look at my notes about Fremantle's needs. Key forward, key defender, midfielders. Jeez.
Hang on, hold up. Did you just say that Fremantle had a key defender?
Yeah.
They've got 26.
No, they can always do with more. What's wrong?
I mean, defenders are good as somebody who plays as a key defender.
It's fine. I'm not picking for Fremantle. It's okay.
I want to say someone, but I'm not sure they're the right fit for Fremantle. This is hard. You've already made this incredibly difficult for me, Damo. It wasn't.
I thought you were going to do the same, so just returning the favour.
True. Well, I guess probably with pick 6 then. Or probably 8 now, I suppose. Let's go with...
A lot of sighing. Sighing.
Well, I know. I'm kind of been thrown in the deep end here, because I was really hoping to have Erasmus and Rochelle there. But I guess let's just get it out of the way. Let's go Jai Amiss for Fremantle.
Fremantle select Jai Amos to boost their key position stocks. Awesome.
Exactly. Yep. Exactly what they need up forward, and he's been incredibly dominant. We know for the Waffle Colts, kicking 51 goals from 15 games, so that's pretty much one of the highest up there with any competition. So he's going to be a welcome player for Fremantle. Obviously, I mentioned would have loved Rochelle and Erasmus, but look, we'll go with a miss and see what happens with our next pick.
And Patch, you're next with Richmond.
I am next with Richmond. Yeah, I mean, their key defensive stocks aren't incredible at this stage, but I don't think Josh Gibcus is the selection here. I think starting to prepare for life without Jack Riewoldt and with Marbia Chol having gone to Gold Coast in the off-season, I think Richmond, I'm going to go for Mac Andrew here for the Tigers. I know they've been linked to Hobbs, but I think Andrew just fits their needs a bit more, and there are plenty of other midfielders floating around a little bit later when they have a bazillion picks. So, Mac Andrew, lock it in, Eddie. Or Gil.
All right.
The Big Mac down at Tigerland.
Fremantle is on up again. Azza?
Yeah. Well, you know what? It's a tough one again because I know who I'd like to pick again, but I don't think they're the right need for Fremantle. But I mean, Josh Gibskis sitting there, he's probably one of the best, if not the best, key defender in this draft, and it's for somebody like Fremantle, it's hard to pass up that quality. But even though they've got that level of depth, otherwise, again, Hobbs is a good pick.
Would Fremantle be interested in trading back?
Look, I reckon there is a potential for a trade here, depending on if anybody would like to come to the party.
If we look at, say, Richmond trading pick 15 and 28 for this pick and something down the line, like a future third or a future fourth, something not relevant to this draft, but something along those lines, or a fourth rounder or something.
Okay, what do we think out there, chat? Do you think that's a potential there for Fremantle to trade away their pick 10, which is now 12 for what Patch has
pick 8,
said?
which is pick 10.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Sorry.
Numbers aren't a strong point, Damo.
I can't say anything because I know what I would do, but I'm not allowed to have any input for Fremantle.
Oh
That's
no,
That's why it was taken off me.
Oh, we're happy to take your thoughts here, Damo. Again, is your team.
I don't think 15 and 28 is a fair offer for pick 10.
Deal, Patch.
Are we locking that in, or is that just a spite, Damo?
No, that's just a spite, Damo. Oh.
But if you really wanted to spite him, you'd actually do it.
I know, but if you can do 15, 28, and what else he got down the line? 15, 28. Do you do 15?
Richmond have 15, 26, 27, 28.
Do we do 15, 26 and a future fourth?
Ring the bell! Ring the bell! 15, 26. Yeah, 15, 26 and a future fourth. Done.
All right.
All right. We'll have that trade. Lock it in.
Yep. Let's spice it up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cam is not having a good time at you trying to crowdsource that trade deal either.
So Richmond's up again then.
Richmond are up again. Ben Hobbs. Give me the Hobbs. Give me Ben Hobbs. Cannot say that name fast enough. Who will probably slide in and just be their next Trent Cotchin, both in terms of captaining the side potentially down the line and just being that contested ball winner. Supercoach gold potential as well in terms of just how good he can be at the coalface, depending on how his career tracks. So that is Richmond. I've completely lost track of the order now that Fremantle are out of there, and I'd forgotten how the draft order works.
Oh, I'm sure that Damo's working on the fantastic graphics to give us the top 10.
I am.
Oh, that would be St Kilda next, I think.
Do they have pick 9?
They do have pick 9.
Then that's them.
Mm-hmm.
That is St Kilda. Oh. Did not expect Gibcus to be on the board here and have no idea if St Kilda actually need key position depth in the back line. I know they did have Carlisle, Claverino for... Yeah, they've lost a lot. Maybe let's go...
Hang on. We'll just look at the top 10 just first.
Yep.
Here we go. So North Melbourne took Jason Horne-Francis with pick 1.
It was Jamara Jamara Horne-Franklin. Thank you very much.
And then Western Bulldogs matched a bid on Sam Darcy. Collingwood matched a bid on Nick Dacos. Giants took Callahan. Suns took Ward. Adelaide took Josh Shelley. Hawthorn took Neil Erasmus. Fremantle took Jai Amos. And then Richmond took Mac Andrew. And then there was that bombshell trade that I can't really talk about. and then Richmond took Ben Hobbs.
I mean, the trade's done and dusted now. You're able to let rip, Damo. Tell us what you really think.
I would not have done that trade. I wouldn't have touched that trade with a 10-foot pole.
Wonderful. That's what we want to hear. That
Anyway,
is what we want to hear.
Moving on, St Kilda. I believe that is your selection patch.
And it is. We're gonna go Josh Gibcus. We're gonna lock it in.
Okay.
Was not even on the board for St Kilda. I didn't think he'd.
I mean, Eddie's
past 5.
That's an incredible slide there. Yeah.
And then
I don't think it's any indictment on his talent. I just think it's obviously the clubs have decided that Fremantle don't need a 27th key defender.
And I think he'll be used quite a bit because they just enlisted Claverino, as you said, and then James Frawley's getting on. Is he even still there? I can't remember.
I think he might have 1 year left, but he's also always injured. So
yeah.
So, yep, I think it's a good selection for St Kilda to be honest.
Really like the idea of going with a Matt Johnson or Josh Goda, but yeah, they're getting Mitch Owens, they're getting Marcus Windhager, they're getting a bit of that later on.
Are they getting Mitch Owens?
They might be getting Mitch Owens.
West Coast up next. They are selecting Matt. They're selecting Matt Johnson.
Ooh,
yeah,
interesting.
Good pick.
Local boy, Shuey's getting on. They need someone. They don't really have a big-bodied mid in there. They need to bring him in.
Yep, agreed. I think he's one of the best players. I think he's being a little bit undersold in this draft as well. I think he's a very, very good prospect who you could almost build a midfield around in the future.
Now I've got Essendon next. And I've
got for it.
And I've got 2 names that I'm tossing up between.
Oh, that's a tough one.
Essendon have selected Josh Sin.
Ooh, okay.
Not the name
I like
I want you to read out.
I like it.
I don't dislike it.
I mean, he's put in some good form in the NAB League of late.
12 months ago, after last year's draft, he was talked about as a potential first selection.
He was, yeah.
Yep, no, there's no doubt the talent's there. Not sure the positional need.
He's a halfback sort of midfielder, but he can probably take up residence on one of Essendon's wings.
Yeah,
okay.
I think he fits in somewhere, but not who I'd have expected. I like it.
14. Who's 14?
Oh, that is Port Adelaide. Port Adelaide, and the top of Port Adelaide's list was Josh Sin. So thank you for that, Damo.
But Port Adelaide don't even play the halfbacks that they have.
I know, but that's why they needed another one. I hear you like halfbacks, hey? Have all the halfbacks in the world and then just feed donuts into Port Adelaide. Right, there are 2 South Australian boys who I've got down for Port here. And they're not missing a huge amount in terms of like what their list needs are. So I think I'm gonna go with.
Don't do it.
I'm
just ready to be hurt. I'm just ready to be hurt.
I'm gonna go Nazaya Wanganeen Malera. A little bit of the romance of the family connection, the fact that he's just so good at kicking the football. And I don't think he slides immediately into that midfield. I think they turn him into a high half forward, but that lets them push Butters and Rosie into the midfield. I think it just works for them. I think it works, and I think he works for them.
And then the Giants have the next pick as well.
Oh, they do too. So we didn't get key position depth at the top because Finn Callaghan was too good at football to ignore, and we like players who are good at football. So for yet another curveball, we're going to go a little bit early on Jacob van Rooyen, who can be key position depth at either end of the ground. He played very well in defence for WA against South Australia and was very good up forward for who does he play for again? Sorry, was it?
He plays for Claremont.
Claremont, that's it.
Good selection.
Jacob Van Rooyen.
Yeah.
Very early on him, but my brain can't mentally deal
This is
with trading
probably
down.
you probably selected him at the earliest point in his window, but I think it's a good selection to make sense for the Giants.
Yeah, I knew that he would still be there for their second pick, which is why I was very comfortable passing over both Andrew and Gibcus at that first pick.
I've got Sydney next, and I had Jacob Van Rooyen at the top of my list for them, so I guess I got to go for the person next on their list.
Unless you want to trade.
No.
Sit back down. Sit down, Azza.
Sydney are going to select Josh Gota.
I like that. I like that. He was who I was going with for Essendon if I was in that seat.
And that's why I wanted to trade, because Fremantle wanted Gota.
What do you see Gota becoming for them, Damo? Because he's very versatile. Do you see him starting one position and then moving into that JPK role, or how do you think they roll around with him?
I think he starts settling into that position that Jordan Dawson left behind, and then probably moves into, once he's comfortable, that Josh Kennedy role once Josh Kennedy steps aside.
Yeah, rate that. Rate that. So pick 17 is Richmond.
No, it's Fremantle now, and Azzy, you've
it is, because we've done that trade.
Yep, that's right. So, I mean, been hurt by Wangani, Malira, Gota, and Van Rooyen all gone. So
almost like trading down was a bad idea.
Yeah, I know, right?
Imagine that.
That's all right. There's still some players on the board that are in the window that I like for Fremantle, and we are going to select. On my list was going to be Mitch Owens. We're going to put a bid on St Kilda's Next Generation Academy player.
Well,
and
they
St
can't.
Kilda are going to match the.
No, St Kilda can't match it because it's out because it's inside 20. So.
Yep. We're going to take it.
Just another reason for St Kilda fans to hate the Dockers.
No, I like him. Obviously, yeah, he's been a bit of a late bloomer, growing 10 centimetres in the last 12 months, turning into a good tall utility with some great overhead marking skills and a lot of courage. I reckon he's going to be a good handy pickup for Fremantle then to be able to use at both ends.
I just noticed something. Sydney have not selected Josh Gota because it was actually Brisbane's selection.
Oh.
Controversy.
Oh, controversy indeed.
So those last two picks, we have to rescind.
We have to do them again. Oof. Is this a reprieve for St Kilda fans? Is this the hand of God, perhaps? If you turn around and say Brisbane picked Josh Gota anyway, then...
I don't have Brisbane.
Oh, do you not have Brisbane?
I have Brisbane.
Here we go.
Well. So if that's the case, so who was on the board?
So Gota and Owens are back on the board.
Gota and Owens are back on the board. Jeez, I'm gonna break.
Yes, in a brief moment where I forgot that bids had happened, I thought that Sydney still had pick 16, but they don't.
No worries, we are human. It happens to the best of us.
In a late trade, then Fremantle will do a trade with Brisbane and a late few swap picks that won't impact us in this Phantom draft. So that'll be, what is it, 14 and 15, Damo, I think, or 16.
Fremantle have 17, Brisbane have 16.
Yeah, so they're swapping both picks. Fremantle one up next.
Okay, so what does Fremantle? Okay, fine, never mind.
Just to throw a massive spanner in the works.
Okay, go on then.
Fremantle pick Josh Gota.
Okay.
Right, I'm not entirely sure what happened.
I'm not entirely sure what Brisbane got back out of that, but I assume it's too late to be relevant tonight.
Exactly, it is. Yep, some picks in the 90s and 80s and whatever.
Which
Maybe a future fifth.
Sure.
surely there'd be future picks involved, considering Brisbane have that academy thing next year.
That's right.
Academy player. Sorry.
Yeah, Ashford.
Okay,
Yep.
well, who's Brisbane selecting now then?
Ooh, I'd completely forgotten that we had Brisbane. Look, I
You
think
literally just
Brisbane.
did the trade, Asa. You just did the trade with them.
I know it did, but I didn't even know what. I mean, I think look, Brisbane probably would have liked Goat, but I will probably select somebody with another need in Darcy Wilmot, the rebounding defender.
Yeah, I like it. I like it.
That
Sydney.
Danny Rich void of significance.
Now is Sydney's turn.
Here we go. Now
And
it's
they are going to select Mitch Owens.
Oh God. Ah. Why are you gonna do me dirty like this? Oh.
Now Brisbane's back up.
All right, Brisbane again.
Rip St Kilda fans. Just big old rip.
Brisbane will select. We're going to select the younger brother of St Kilda's Dan Butler, Sam Butler.
Bit early, isn't it?
I don't think so.
Okay. Fair enough.
Fair enough. We'll lock it in. There we go.
And you're up again with Melbourne.
Melbourne? Who's this Melbourne you speak of? Melbourne will select. We're going to select. Jeez, who would we have had around this time? Let's go Mitch Nevitt. I think he's still on the board. Tall midfielder.
He's definitely still on the board, and I like that selection.
Yep.
Okay.
He's a good pick.
So that is the first round done and dusted.
Woo!
Fremantle have the first pick of the second round. I can think of a few names that people might be interested in at that pick.
Mm.
Well, are we going to have a quick break to go over the first round?
We are,
Yeah.
yeah.
Let's have a review and see how.
Just organising that right now.
Absolutely.
Everyone watching along, Cam, let us know what you think. So we've
All right. So here is who has been selected so far.
that graphic is so good. Mwah. Incredible stuff.
Oh. Kudos to you, Potato Bake. That is good. Nothing better than a 3 standard drink on a Sunday. Credit there.
There we go. So we'll run through it unless somebody else wants to run through it. Well, we have Jason Horne-Francis to kick things off. Sam Darcy, Nick Dacos-Bids, Finn Callaghan, Josh Ward, Josh Rochelle, Neil Erasmus, Jai Amos, Mac Andrew, Ben Hobbs. We've been over that top 10 already. After that, we had Josh Gibcus to St Kilda in a miraculous slide. Matt Johnson, very good pick to the West Coast Eagles. Josh Sin to the Bombers. Nazaya Wanganeen Malera stays in his home state and goes to Port Adelaide. Jacob Van Rooyen goes to the Giants. And then after some trade shenanigans where we're still not entirely sure what happened, we have Josh Goda at Freo, Darcy Wilmot at Brisbane, Mitch Owens breaking St Kilda fans' hearts at Sydney, Sam Butler to Brisbane, and Mitch Nevitt to Melbourne, sneaking into the first round.
So what's our thoughts of the top 20 there? We liking the order that's likely to be in? Is there people we thought would slide, people we thought have gone too high? What's your thoughts, Damo?
I feel like who Fremantle selected, probably they didn't need to trade it for, so their trade would have benefited Richmond more than themselves.
Mm-hmm. Richmond are very happy that trade was agreed to.
Yeah, especially considering what they got back. The Giants probably selected Jacob Van Ruin a bit early, but as I said, probably at the bottom of his range, or the top of his range, or however you want, bottom or top. Doesn't bother me. Brisbane selecting Darcy Wilmot was a surprise. I know there is some conjecture about whether he's a second round selection or a first round selection, but it makes sense considering who they have on their list. Sydney, I know Sydney fans are big fans of Mitch Owens, but weren't sure if they'd get the chance. But given who was off the board, it makes sense for them to select him. I still think Brisbane took Sam Butler way too early, and Mitch Nevitt makes sense for Melbourne.
I don't think Butler's too early in that sense. For Brisbane at 19, I think he's about that early 20s range, and I've always been of the opinion that if a club like someone, you just go early. It doesn't necessarily matter, like I've done with Van Ruyen. It's just a case of the needs are, they sit above trying to trade back to the exact pick you think they'll go at. I think Brisbane have done all right there to get Butler in. Well, what do you think then, Damo, of Freo's pickup of Goda? What do you see there?
He's exactly what Fremantle need at the moment. I'm going to be honest.
There we go, big fan, and
did have him in mind. That's why I was a bit hurt the first time he was selected, and then when he was we had that debacle. Back on the board for Freo. We'll take that.
All right. We'll take a 2-minute break and then come back for round 2.
Say when.
All right, we are back, ready to do the second round.
Yeah, welcome back to Gladiators. I mean, the 2021 Jock Reynolds Phantom Draft. Thank you, Cam. It is a great graphic. You've done some very good work here, Damo. Good stuff.
Fremantle are up next. I was going to offer a trade as the Hawks, but I've decided against it. So if anyone else wants to trade...
Oh, Fremantle would have entertained it, but that's okay.
I'm sure there'd be plenty of clubs wanting to do it. My brain doesn't have the processing power to actually offer a trade.
Given how Peter Bell talked about that selection on radio recently, it sounds like they're going to have to get a very, very good offer to trade it. But obviously, Azza is not Peter Bell, so he can do whatever he wants.
Oof.
Because I am the anti-Peter Bell.
The Peter Conch. Come on, that joke was funny. Laugh at that joke. Don't just let it die in like 3 seconds of silence.
It went over my head and then came back, and then the moment passed. So
it was anyway. Somebody make a pick and put me out of my misery.
Okay.
I'm up. I'm just going through my list just to see. I mean, I probably could have used that break more better, but let's see. I know we want to take that. I don't want to pick that play because Damo will murder me.
Come on, pick Shane Mumford. Do it. Do it,
All
you
right.
coward.
Fremantle are going to pick Tyler Sonsi.
Was this the player that I was going to murder you for?
No, someone else.
Oh.
Is Tyler Sonsi worthy of murder, Damo?
I don't rate him.
Interesting. Always nice having these discussions with you, Damo. Because I do.
What do you see in Sonsi for the Dockers there, Azza?
Oh, look,
Nothing.
while he's lacked...
Absolutely nothing. Anyway, keep going, Azza.
Who's up next, Damo?
Patches with North Melbourne.
North Melbourne
Continue.
are up. So, yeah, I think there aren't too many needs at North Melbourne, especially not in the midfield. And there are plenty of midfielders at this stage of the draft. So I think the one thing they're really lacking is like a really good pressure small forward. So that kind of brings, Butler would have been someone I'd have considered at this pick for them if he hadn't gone, which I think, I'm agreeing with Cam in our chat there that I think it was a decent pickup there from Brisbane. So Motlop really comes into the frame. Arlo Draper's still on the board, but I don't think he's that pressure forward they need, and I think he becomes kind of yet another midfielder that just doesn't quite fit into that side. The other thing I think they need is somebody in the back half to kind of take over when Zeeble finishes up in a few years, but I think that's a lower priority for them at this stage. So I am going to go with Jesse Motlop there for the Roos at pick 22.
Good selection. Dockers can't match because it's not outside 40. He's an NGA prospect, but because he's a Metro prospect, he can't be selected.
Which is nonsense. It's I don't understand. I don't understand it. The rules are very strange.
To be honest, I don't know when the rule was brought in, so it boggles my mind. Anyway, we'll move on because I'll get angry talking about it. Hawks are up next. They are selecting Rhett Bazzo.
Ah.
Ooh, okay.
What do we see Rhett Bazzo doing for the Hawks? I assume playing down back for them.
He would be a key defender. They don't really have. They drafted old mate last year, and they need someone
old mate.
Old mate.
And they need someone to partner him for 8 to 10 years.
Yep, I don't mind Rhett Bazzo as that selection there. Yeah, their key backs aren't incredibly deep, and yeah, he takes the time to develop as well. So, I'd rate that for Hawthorn.
All right, Cam's in the chat patch. Geelong's up. Who are you selecting?
Oh, okay.
Geelong?
No, it's not Geelong yet, is it?
I was going to say Geelong's me.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not Geelong. I don't have to. I was looking at my notes very panickingly, going, I don't have notes for Geelong. What?
Okay,
Ah,
Azza, it is you. It is you. Me and Patch will watch you and criticize alongside Cam.
Well, let's see here. Geelong will pick Toby Conway. I think it's exactly what they need in the ruckman. So that's a pretty easy selection there for Geelong.
Interesting. Not who I would have thought for Geelong.
I think he's a very good pick for Geelong. I'm intrigued that he's gone so early.
I think it's exactly where he'll probably end up in around the draft, given that he is highly rated by Geelong. If he's not picked up by their first pick, it'll be one of the ones down the line. But getting it straight out of the way is early, and Geelong will be very happy with that pick.
Yeah, I don't dislike it.
We'll just move on. Hawks have selected Arlo Draper.
There we go. I was wondering when he would go.
He's moved too far back, in my opinion. So
one of those ones where
he's just too good not to select at that point.
Yeah, but especially with Chad Wingard comparisons as well. He could do some damage for the Hawks. When Wingard disappears, 26 is not. Is that Carlton now?
That is Carlton, yes.
That is. I'm already losing track because we've been 2 ahead, and then we had a Bulldogs pick that has been scrapped, and we're now only 1 ahead, and my brain's not quite doing the thing. I'm very annoyed at myself for picking Jesse Motlop as North, because I think the Blues have the two. The Blues have those two needs of a pressure small forward to fill the Eddie Betts role and key defenders for reasons. But I think they're a better chance of getting a key defender a bit later, as much as Leclerc could be a really good pick for them here. I think they're going to go Judson Clark a little bit early on him and lock in that pressure small forward.
Good pick.
I do like that pick of Judson Clark.
He's could well go in the 30s, but I think the need's too pressing for Carlton, and I think they're just going to pull the trigger a little bit early, having hoped that Motlop would slide through, or Butler as well. Arlo Draper would have been very nice for them as well, so they'd have been fingers crossed that he'd have slid a little bit further, but alas, it was not to be.
Okay, Fremantle's up next with their 4th selection of the night so far.
And again, we're going to look at key position depth. So they're going to select local boy Jack Williams.
I love this selection.
You're welcome, Damo. I had to get one right for you.
I think he
only took you 4 picks.
I think he ticks 2 boxes for the Dockers as a key forward. But he can also pinch it in the ruck, and there's no one other behind Lloyd Meek on their list at the moment.
Yeah. That was a pretty easy pick there for Freo.
Yeah, I wonder if Williams does ruck at AFL level as a pinch hitter at 195 outside the forward line, though. Is that
he's still growing?
Still tall enough?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think at the start of this year he was listed at 191.
He's 195 now, I think.
Yeah, so there's every chance that he grows more.
It's not something I'd really thought about until you mentioned it then, but whether or not your backup pinch hitters need to be a bit taller than they were back in the day when you did have your 193s going into the ruck.
Sure.
But no, it's a very good pick. I'm a big fan of that selection.
Right. The next 2 picks are Richmond. They've got back-to-back selections. So Patch.
They do. There are a lot of names I had down, and a lot of them are still here actually.
There's one particular one.
Yeah, they're looking at Bazzo, who's gone. I thought would be good for them. Nevitt, if he'd slid, not that he ever really was going to. But I think Zach Taylor is instantly locked in. Especially having not got their hands on Ward. I think Hobbs is going to feed the ball out to Taylor for the next decade or so, and it'll be a very, very good tag team that Richmond fans are going to be very excited about over the next little while, I think.
Okay, you're on the board again with the next selection.
Yep, I was waiting for someone to rip into me there.
I
That's a good pick.
I like the selection, and Richmond love their small forwards. So
Well, yeah. Does Taylor play much forward? Did he have a run forward for? I thought he was pretty much a pure midfielder for the.
he's probably more a midfielder than a forward, but at his size, he'll probably start as a small forward.
Yeah, yeah. I certainly think he will start there. Now they've kind of ticked off a couple of needs, but I think they'll keep going towards midfield after making a bid. They're going to bid on the Giants' Josh Fahey.
Good pick. Very good selection.
The Giants are going to match that because it's outside 20, so they're going to do that.
Very good selection.
He's one of those ones that the academy boys always slide just because of that. You know, the fact that they're going to be matched, and the AFL will just throw concessions at the Giants and Gold Coast to make sure their local boys end up on their lists. But I don't think he can slide too much further, especially with Edwards getting to the end of his career and Hawley retiring last year. I think he'd be good on their list, but the Giants equally would be very happy to match that, and they will do so. Which means Richmond end up.
Yep.
Oh, sorry.
Richmond are up again with pick 30.
Yep. And God, there are a lot of names that I really want here. A lot of players I really want, but I think they're going to go with Blake Howes.
Good pick.
To play kind of along the wing, kind of as a tallish forward. You look at Sheldrick, who'd be very good, but they've managed to pick up Hobbs. So they've done well there. Connor McDonald could be good. Williams was down as a selection for them as well, that I had in mind. Matt Roberts as well, but I think Howes just is a little bit more versatile and gives them more options.
Okay. I love that selection. I think it makes sense for them as sort of a tallish midfielder on the wing. They seem to have a lot of nuggety inside midfielders, and there's not a lot on the outside there for when Camden McIntosh and all that move on. So I do love that selection. And Blake House can also pinch hit as a third tall as well, being 190 centimetres.
Yeah, and so, I think that's where he'll start as well. But that's me done. I think that's all of my picks finished.
No, not yet. Because West Coast is going to bid on Marcus Windhager.
That's going to get matched, very matched, by St Kilda after having Mitch Owens torn from their arms by the Swans earlier. So that pick will get matched by the Saints.
Okay, so West Coast are sort of, their list is aging, so nothing that they select is going to go begging in the future at this stage. The Eagles have selected Corey Warner.
Another local product.
Okay.
Another local product. Brother of Chad. I know Sydney were keen on Corey, but West Coast have got in before them and kept him at home.
It's an interesting one. I didn't have him in the first two rounds. Is there anything more you wanted to add with that demo?
Nah, nothing really to add there. He won the
short and sweet.
He won the time trial at the WA Combine. Incredibly fit. I think he's going to have instant impact for West Coast. I'm going to be completely honest.
Yeah, I don't mind him. I think there's certainly room for him to slide, and they could have also done with the Sheldrick, but I don't think Warner is a bad selection by any means.
Geelong.
As you jump in, Bullet Blitz has jumped in. We'll go over the full draft again, but pick 11 was Josh Gibcus to St Kilda. Had a bit of a slide out of the top 10 as we cut back to Geelong.
Look, I think Geelong are going to take at this pick. We're going to go Leek Aaliyah. Going to take one of probably the top intercept markers of this draft. I really like him, and I reckon he'll be very good for Geelong with their aging list as well.
Yeah, don't mind it at all. Don't mind it.
I'm pretty sure I spelt his name wrong, so hold on. It's 2 L's, 2 E, is 2 E's, isn't it? No.
Correct. 2 L's, 2
Yeah,
E's.
I'm pretty sure
only
it is, yes.
1 L according to AFL.com, so
Interesting.
Someone's wrong.
someone somewhere is wrong. I'll use that spelling.
Yeah, I think if we're going to go off one source, I think the AFL would probably have the paperwork on hand. Or you'd hope they do, at any rate.
But I like that selection, especially with Lockie Henderson no longer there.
Yeah. And again, he's been playing in the Sandford seniors as well, so he's got that exposure. Will be a very good help for them down in defence.
It wouldn't shock me if they gave him a season or two at VFL level, but yeah, certainly has the potential and the body to step in straight away.
Yeah.
Next is Sydney, and I'm just looking at some names right now. It's probably too early to take this guy, but I'm going to take him anyway, just so he's off the board and so no one else can have him. Sydney are selecting Angus Sheldrick.
That is a very good pick.
Yeah, I think this is about where where Sheldrick will go in this draft.
I was almost tempted to ask for a trade from Geelong there, because that was who I had next up for Geelong as well. I like that pick there, Damo.
Yeah,
I'm intrigued.
I think with Corey Warner off the board, they would have preferred Warner at that pick, but Sheldrick would be their next best option if Warner was off the board.
Yeah, I'm intrigued how much faith they have in Angus Anderson as well, being pretty much their only NGA product this year, who's also apparently a big, big-bodied inside midfielder. As to whether or not on draft night they do go the bigger midfielder, but I think that there's certainly that need on their list in the next couple of years. So I think Sheldrick, suits them very well.
Okay. Geelong next, Azza.
Yeah, so I mean, we would have liked to have taken Sheldrick. I mean, that's a very good pick, but let's see, who else do I have on my list? I don't think this player's been taken yet, but I don't think he's also the need for Geelong. So Geelong will take... We're going to take Alistair Lord.
Okay. Another key defender? No, he's not a key defender.
He's a small defender, isn't he?
He's not.
He's a small defender.
Yeah.
At 180 centimetres. Yep. Has puts in some good yards in the Sansville under-18s, averaging 22.4 disposals. And also, does have a lot of meaningful drive out of defence and is, incredibly aggressive runner. So it's probably very handy for Geelong there. I reckon that's probably exactly what they need, some more run and drive from defence.
All right. Adelaide have the next pick, and I'm going to jump in and not give much feedback to Azza because I just realised that this guy hadn't been taken yet. I don't know how he's gone this far, but Adelaide have selected Campbell Chesser.
Oh, yeah. Great pick. He was next on my list. I like that. Yep.
And then Geelong are back up.
Yep, because that's exactly who Geelong were going to take. Campbell Chesser. So that's screwed me up there.
There's one other player that I'm shocked hasn't gone yet as well, who I think Geelong very much need. Damo's eyes just looking terrified. I'm not saying
I know there is one other player I know who hasn't been. Actually, I don't think this player has been picked. You're going to have to correct me if he hasn't. But Geelong will select, if he hasn't been taken, Tom Brown.
He has not been selected.
Yep. Tom Brown.
Again, I honestly thought you were going to go for Tom Brown at 24, just straight off the bat. But he's done very well. Another Shepparton lad to sneak through.
And completely had missed him until just then, so I was Happy to pick him up as because again fits another need that Geelong have and a line breaking defender. So that is a very welcome pick and very happy to have him at Geelong. I think Geelong are very happy with our selection so
I think
far.
it makes sense for Geelong, especially given the family name there, the family connection there.
And that's
His
two as
sister's
well.
on their AFLW list as well, which
Yep.
would be the second brother-sister duo behind the O'Driscolls. I think. Unless I've missed another set.
But potentially third.
I feel like there is another one.
We'll say second because this third one hasn't actually happened yet. But Joel Weston's sister is a train-on player for the for the Dockers AFLW team.
That's the other one I was thinking too.
Second club, definitely then. Right, so we're at pick 38 now.
And that is West Coast. And they are picking Connor McDonald.
I like that. I like that. And I think McDonald will be a very good Supercoach option for us as well.
When West Coast give him a shot, for sure, yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
When they do.
That goes without saying. It wouldn't be next year. It would be the year after or the one beyond that. But talk us through McDonald and what he'll offer Freo fan. Dockers fan.
West Coast fans.
West Coast fans.
You're welcome, Patch.
Thank you. I'm just not used to asking Damo to say nice things about Eagles players or fans or anything.
It feels weird.
So moving on.
Hey, he's 184 centimetre inside midfielder. He's rated elite for contested game and athleticism. He's pretty much just, they're like I said, their midfield is aging. They need some rejuvenation in there, and I think Connor McDonald, along with Matt Johnson and who's the other guy selected, Corey Warner, will create a nice, nucleus for their next midfield.
Yep, big fan. So pick 39, which will be the last pick of the evening for us in this Phantom draft. Melbourne. Azza, who have you got down for the Ds at this selection?
Melbourne. I mean, look, I just want to throw a curveball in. Does anybody want to trade? No. I think, look, we'll probably
hang on,
at this stage.
Hold on. Let me look at.
St Kilda are keen to trade. I don't know what St Kilda have.
They don't have a lot.
St Kilda would offer a future second to jump in here, I think.
I'm just having a look at a draft hand, so give me one moment.
And I'm also just taking a look at picks. Because, let's just throw a spanner in here, shall we?
Yeah, St Kilda formal offer of a future second for
okay.
39.
West Coast will offer a future second and a future third and pick 67.
Patch?
Oh. No, St Kilda aren't offering a future second and a future third. That is a big bid, but
and
yeah, no, no, you're right. Off you go.
And Melbourne will not accept the trade. I just wanted to see what was out there, just to have a bit of a laugh.
I wonder if you know who is out there that I would have paid that much for. But yeah, go on.
I'm intrigued by who you'd have paid that much for.
Yep. Look, with Melbourne's last selection, I think Melbourne have got a great list. They've already done a lot there, good work. So we're just going to pick who I think is the last best available talent in that pick, and Melbourne will select Judson Clark.
He's been selected.
He's been picked.
Oh,
went to Carlton some 13 selections ago.
Before you select, maybe we'll throw up who's already been taken.
Please do.
Just so you can change any notes that you need to change.
I do now, because that was what I was hoping for. But there's still a couple of good names on my list.
All right, this is everyone who's been taken so far. So we'll start from round 2. Fremantle opened round 2 selecting Tyler Sonsie. North Melbourne then picked up Jesse Motlop. Rhett Bazzo went to the Hawks. Toby Conway went to Geelong. Arlo Draper went to Hawthorn. Judson Clark went to Carlton. And then Fremantle selected Jack Williams. Richmond selected Zach Taylor before having a bid on Josh Fay, which the Giants matched. Richmond's then selected Blake Howes. St Kilda matched West Coast's bid on Marcus Windhager. So West Coast then selected Corey Warner. Geelong selected Lekalia. Sydney selected Angus Sheldrick. Geelong selected Alistair Lord. Adelaide selected Campbell Chesser. Geelong selected Tom Brown, and then West Coast selected Connor McDonald.
So I'm just having a look to see if my other specific name is there. No. Ooh, no. Ooh, okay. I think we might have a selection here. So I can't see his name there either. Again, looking at the best talent around, and I really like this player. Let's go with Matthew Roberts.
There we go. He does go.
Yeah.
And he was who West Coast was going to trade up for.
Yeah. Again, one of probably the more prolific ball winners in this draft. In the Sandful, under 18s, averaged 32 disposals. But only from the 3 games, but still that is just an incredible achievement. 23 kicks out of that 32 as well. So he will be a very welcome pick there at Melbourne as
it's almost sad if he does end up at Melbourne from a fantasy perspective, considering that he averaged 201 Supercoach points from those 3 games, and then also had exposure at reserves level and senior level. Played quite a few games at senior level from memory as well.
Yeah, 7 games.
7 games. So yeah, that was who the Saints were going to trade up for as well. But also, you know, with Crouch and Steele in there, I don't think he's as much as a need, for the Saints there. But yeah, certainly West Coast would be keen on that. Rightio. So if you're sticking around, let us know what you reckon.
So this is how it ended up. Now that every pick has come through.
So looking at from our own individual team's perspective, Patch, your thoughts on Essendon's selections here in this Phantom draft?
Yeah, I probably would have gone Josh Gota ahead of Sin just for the versatility, but Sin's an excellent pick, and you know there are a lot of factors that go into who you select that you know we as fans don't have access to in terms of the interviews and how impressive they sound and all of that stuff. But yeah, I certainly think Sin would be a good addition to any side. So certainly very happy there, and that was the only pick for the Bombers. How did I do with North Melbourne?
Well, considering you only picked one player in Horne Francis. Two, did you? No, Jesse Motlop, yeah. Again, pretty easy with North Melbourne. The pick 1 is a straightforward pick this year. Again, I don't think they probably will bid. I'd think everyone would like to see them bid, just so that way, Western Bulldogs and Collingwood can pay the maximum price. But I think it'll be GWS that will do that, and not North, to make sure that Horne Francis is locked in as that number 1 pick. He's already said it himself. He wants that pick. He wants that title to make sure he can live up to those expectations. It's going to be a big ask, and I applaud him for doing that. And Jesse Motlop is another fantastic pick. It would have been someone I would have loved to have picked up with for Fremantle, because I know Fremantle would have loved to have him as that academy pick, NGO academy, but wasn't to be. So well done, Patch. I'm happy with that too. And Damon, I don't think we will talk about Freo, shall we?
I liked 3 out of your 4 selections.
That's good. Got a good hit rate there.
Got a good hit rate. Yeah.
I mean, I understand why people enjoy Tyler Sonsie's body of work. I just don't really rate him as a need for Fremantle.
No, I'm intrigued as to if he's kind of, if they do go there, if he'd almost be the like-for-like replacement for for Adam Chera. Not that I
No.
think Freo need a like-for-like replacement.
Like for like would be Josh Gota.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. I
Josh
certainly
Josh Goda's slightly bigger and more athletic, meaning he can probably bloom more into a Nat Fife type
Yep.
player.
Again, it's probably a need you're going to have to fill
Exactly.
soon as well.
Yeah, but Tyler Sonzi he's only a tick over 180 centimeters. He's probably engine rooms are moving away from the big bodies, but I don't think he's going to develop into a first choice midfielder. So he might have to find himself as a small forward or something.
Yeah. In terms of sliders, Campbell Chesser getting to 36 is incredible. Are there any other players we think have slid a fair bit there?
I thought Matthew Roberts.
Yeah, Matthew Roberts is probably of a slider. Josh Gibcus, I don't think he'll be probably outside the top 10, so that was probably a big surprise early on.
Any bolters?
Jacob Van Rooyen has bolted up the board a little bit based on needs.
Yep.
In my eyes, we've lost as we lose the look at the selections there.
Do you want it back?
No, I think we're all right. I've got them written down here. Corey Warner's potentially gone a little bit early, but probably about his range. Rhett Bazzo, I think, if the Hawks don't grab him, he's a need selection, so I think he probably does go there. But in terms of talent, could slide back a little bit more towards that mid
with
to
Rhett
late
Bazzo,
20s.
I felt if I didn't select him at 23, Azza might have selected him or might have thought about selecting him at pick 24.
It was a thought, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the Hawks were right to jump on him there. So, yeah, probably not too much there. Tom Brown has slid a fair bit as well. But I don't think there have been too many surprises to people that have jumped up
I think,
out of nowhere.
especially for interstate clubs, they will be wary on selecting Tom Brown, especially with his family connections. And I think that will play into the minds of some people. But the likes of Richmond, the likes of Carlton, and the likes of Hawthorn may not stop because it keeps him in Victoria.
Yep, agreed. Who was left on your list that you would be looking at from here on out from any club's perspective?
As West Coast, instead of Connor McDonald, I almost went mature age for Greg Clark.
Yeah.
Yep, we've spoken about Greg Clark in the group chat for quite a while.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Greg Clark. I want him in the AFL. I don't care who he goes to, but because he will be instant impact wherever he goes.
For those that don't follow the waffles, twists and turns, would you like to let us know who Greg Clark is?
He's a 194 centimetre midfielder for Subiaco. Tackle machine, racks the ball up, can hit the scoreboard. He's just a big body, and you want him in your midfield. I think he's become a key pillar of Subiaco, and I think if Subiaco lose him, they won't be better for it.
No, I think he'd be a very interesting pick, and someone that could go in a rookie draft if a club wants to go that way. Brady Hoff and Ned Long were two that I really considered for Richmond's picks.
Yep.
Long was very injury impacted, and I think that's causing him to slide a fair way, which will be very good for whichever club picks him in the 40s or 50s. Tall midfielder, kicks goals. I think he's a very, very exciting prospect, who will be very good for whoever ends up with him.
Yeah, the only other player that was high on my list, Hugh Jackson from South Australia. Natural accumulator of the ball, averaged 29.3 for North Adelaide in the Sandful under-18s. I reckon he's probably going to be one of those selections in around that second round, so he probably was very high on my list for whoever was next, as well as Sam Banks too. Division 2 MVP in the under-16 champs in 2019.
I like Sam Banks. I think he's going to be Tasmania's top selection.
Yep, I totally agree with that, Damo. It was the only other probably player that I had up there at the top of my list as well.
I've just tweeted out how it ended up, so everyone can rip into us. But hopefully we didn't do too badly.
Looking forward to Damo's logging into his alt account and ripping Azza to shreds. But thank you for joining us, everyone that's popped along. Thank you, Damo, for setting this up and once again pushing it out. Love this podcast. Love this stream.
I love doing draft content. I just love it.
It's very good stuff. Azza, thank you for joining us. Thank you for coming
Always
along.
a pleasure. Yeah, thank you for having
engaging
me.
in some hashtag controversial live trading.
I always like to cause a bit of chaos, you know that.
He did flag this trade a long way out.
He did flag several of those trades.
It was like 3 weeks ago that he said I couldn't talk about Fremantle because he had those picks, and I knew something was going to happen that would make me, want to leave the room.
And just before we go, Supercoach BBL, give us a quick plug.
Me and Azza are experts. You can add us to your teams and take us on, challenge us.
Indeed, you've got content. Oh, sorry, Azza.
Yeah, no, that's the big bombshell of the week. That was a huge humbling surprise to both Damo and myself. That Herald Sun BBL Supercoach this season, you will be able to select Damo and I as an expert alongside actual experts in Shane Warne, Mike Hussey, Callum Ferguson, Elisa Apps, Tim Mitchell, the Phantom, Al Patton, Bryce Mitchell. So we're very humbled to be amongst some actual royalty. But we're looking forward to the season ahead. We're going to have a lot of articles and some more podcasts out, and obviously there's the articles that will come out for the Herald Sun as well too to look forward to. So it's an exciting future on that. But we'll still be here giving you some amazing AFL content as the lists happen and the drafts end up, and there'll be some Supercoach relevancies to come out of that soon too.
I imagine there'll be a podcast at some stage over the next little while talking about that, very early takes on the draft. But that might do us, I think.
Yep, I think that's good. Any final words, Azza?
Thank you for having me, you amazing human beings.
All right.
Catch you later, community.